on your feet. Now time is over with the quickness. Can I get a witness like Jehovah? Amen. Keep it up till I say when. Now I'm busting out the playpen. It's the era of Jake Rivera. Sparking revolutions like in one ton of mirror. Like Pharaoh getting played from the hands of the creator. Locust devouring all the hocus pocus. Focus on the most perfect curious unload. Under under pressure. I'm about to explode like the Farino. Mean and green, so check my signal. It's the skinny individual who did you well. I kid you not. I give you stop if you got that scheme. Cause my team bring the steam like I wonder from my oasis. And the race is right. Now it's time to take my place in the sun. You can't deny the force. 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 You can't deny the force.
Resistance is futile. We got momentum approval. Invent the time defenses cause our views get futile. It's brutal. So expensive, pain, speed, and bond symbols all suspended sense.
Self-suppression of evidence will be met with belligerence.
And you can hesitate minutes cause like the present intent.
Hence,
your confession is expected if you think they were persistent in a method, yes, you guess it.
blessed are we who come in the name of Jay.
Our word spreads like
Oh, I declare.
it's a state of emergency, the present and the sense. So don't expect the remedy, depend on me, my vanity. It's done forgiving me.
You can't resist the skin.
So give yourself a movement, it's still feel the warm emotion while you see.
Cross, cautiously. You can't deny the force.
No, you
You
can't.
can't deny the force. You can't deny the force.
No, you can't.
You can't deny the force. You can't deny the force.
No, you can't.
You can't deny the force. You can't deny the force.
No, you can't.
You can't deny the force.
All right, the round robin drive time airs for its final time here right now. I am Stephen Murray from our Chicks Beach studios in the lovely Virginia Beach, Virginia, the United States of America. It is just after 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So here is the plan, and I should go ahead and put this up on the ticker, but we will the next time around. So here is the plan for programming as we have hockey starting. So we're going to fire up what the puck is going on. So that's going to dominate a decent amount of airtime. I'll get with Nephew Dave, see exactly what the plan is for that. There's no sense in keeping this show around. I don't want to break down the NBA. We have baseball playoffs looming, which we don't want to ignore. We'll have a playoff show every Tuesday for the baseball while that lasts in October. So we'll discuss baseball playoffs on Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to bring back Inquisition Unknown, Season 2 in the works. So that'll be getting off here soon. We might re-air Season 1 leading up to that. I know we mentioned kicking that off a few times by now, but patience, everybody, patience. And Thursday, we will keep the round robin. So the round robin will stay Thursdays with our Thursday football special. So we'll do all the college games, our ACC focus, Thursday night game. Everything is full go for football Thursdays, 4 p.m. And of course, Sundays, which if you listened this last Sunday, I hope you did, because we nailed all kinds of stuff. I mean, ranging from Donald Parham touchdowns to Devontae Adam touchdowns. We were all over it for the most part. We're going to kick ourselves for not recognizing the Dolphins anyway. But we had a lot of success this past weekend, capping it off last night with the Eagles and 2 unders. So that all worked out well for us. And we'll continue all that momentum as we go into week 4. So week 3 was good. Good flow of the show. 4 hours nonstop, jam-packed Sunday morning. Everything we needed to dive into and more. And I feel like we still left a lot out on the table. So we'll try to duplicate that here week 4. Sunday morning, live at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so baseball on Tuesdays. Thursdays will be our football Thursday special. Baseball playoffs Tuesdays during October. And then Sunday morning, we're still on as well. Of course, you have our EPL championship show, the Friday soccer paycheck, 4 p.m. on Friday. That is still a go. I love doing that show. That's a fun one. All right, so what the puck is going on to be announced. And know that the drive time on Wednesdays will be axed. I just don't want to overwhelm everyone with football. Can't talk about the same stuff nonstop. Day after day after day after day. I can only break down the Jets and Aaron Rodgers not being there so much, right? In fact, we've done a good job about not breaking that down at all, to be honest. A couple of notes I will say, though, from the weekend. Then I'll highlight some more of this on Sunday with Del Grande. Things that I just noticed, and I'd never want to reflect back. I always want to look forward, that's for sure. And our main focus tonight will be some baseball plays for tonight, because there is some good stuff out there with the circumstances of years past that I don't know. I just feel really, really good about. So we're going to see how this turns out. And this would be for Wednesday, basically, as well, as we have half a dozen games left to play here in Major League Baseball. So some really good angles for tonight. We'll get to those picks here in a few minutes. But as far as the NFL this past weekend, the one thing I'll notate is, and I'll notate a couple of things. The officiating has not been as bad as in years past, I think. I feel like by this point in the season, we've had at least one or two games that have been atrociously officiated. If that has been the case, I have not noticed. Maybe in one of your games you've noticed. The false starts by the tackles continue. That's the one thing these guys are missing. Like last night, the Eagles, plenty of false starts. Well, on both sides of the balls, really. But these tackles are getting a half a second head start to try to set up their blocking. And I guess maybe they're trying to let them do that to protect the quarterback. But, a false start is a false start. I mean, you got to draw the line somewhere. You can't have the guy moving before the ball is snapped. And there seems to be a lot of that kind of going on still. The Chiefs guy was notorious for it. He actually got flagged a couple of times. In fact, the Chiefs had a touchdown called back from that. So that's number one, is not the officiating hasn't been bad, except for that tackle that's getting a false start seems to be kind of crazy to me a lot. These coaches, what are they doing a lot of these times? Is the same old song and dance with some of these guys. How come everyone is not following this Eagles model of 4th and 1? You just line up behind the quarterback, you push him, you get him there, first down, etc. The Eagles prove that's the way. Every other team, it seems like to me, 4th and 1, they're lining up shotgun, delayed handoff inside, and no one's getting there. It's getting stopped. In fact, can we just get rid of the delayed handoff draw altogether? When does that play ever work? It never works. And there was plenty of that this weekend in key situations of games. The Redskins on the goal line, or the Commanders on the goal line against the Bills. And once that didn't go in, then that was the floodgates for the Bills. The momentum completely had swung on that. I'm trying to think of the other two instances that I saw. We saw it a few times, but the inside handoff draw is just insane. I just don't get it at all. I just really, really, really don't. Geno Smith. Yes, the Seahawks are 2-1. Is it me, or does it seem like this guy's throwing a alley-oop pass at every turn? I mean, he's literally throwing it up in the air, up for grabs, hoping his receiver catches it. At least that's what it looks like. He has that elongated, full roundhouse motion. It's just, it almost seems like a jump ball, and he has the receivers to go and get it. But I'm not going to be surprised to see if this Seattle team regresses a little bit here. I don't know if that's sustainable. Now, Geno was the comeback player of the year last year in the NFL, and he had a nice season. But just lobbing the ball up for grabs on seemingly every play, it just doesn't seem like that's a sustainable way to go about things. It should have had maybe one or two more interceptions than what he had. But the Seahawks can score points. Their defense like Carolina in it. And that's another thing. When are we going to see Bryce Young again? Because Andy Dalton, even in defeat, didn't look that bad. He looked like he was chapters ahead of Bryce Young as far as NFL quarterbacking goes, if you're doing it by the book. I mean, Andy Dalton's in chapter 12. Halfway through chapter 1 is Bryce Young, I feel like, in that regard. So we'll be lucky to see him anytime soon, I think. Of course, we get some more injuries. Ridley, Mike Williams. So the injuries continue to stack up in the NFL, and it's all the star power names as well. So that's unfortunate. Maybe that will hopefully slow down, but it's not the quarterbacks. You're not seeing the quarterbacks get hurt, but we're seeing a lot of the wide receivers and the running backs as well. So just some notes there. The officiating hasn't been bad, but these tackles are jumping off sides. The inside handoff draw, we need to lose that play once and for all. Geno likes to throw some air balls, alley-oop passes, almost a Hail Mary on every 20-yard pass. And then whatever I just talked about a second ago. Anytime touchdown scores, that would be the other thing too. Man, you had some strange guys. Who is this? Pharaoh Brown was the only touchdown scorer of the Patriots game. I mean, come on, man. If you go down the list, and we'll do that on Sunday, of the anytime touchdown scorers, you'll just see how, I'll just say this. The book, unless you had the Miami props and some other ones, there were definitely some good ones that got home. But if you had Miami and Chiefs stuff, even more so Miami, because even the Chiefs had a couple of randoms score there. Even in the Monday night game last night with Zacharias scoring the first touchdown for the Eagles. You've had plenty of obscure names scoring touchdowns already. Okay, so let's get to the baseball slate. And once we do this, I don't have anything else to talk about. So this will be a 30-ish minute show, and that's quite fine by me. You guys can catch the replay after that. And I'll say that again once we are done. We do have one game in progress. Rockies 3, Dodgers 0. Now, the Dodgers, let's start with them because they're not exactly scoring a ton of runs lately, but they are 8-2 in their last 10, and they have won 2 in a row. You'd think they'd have an easy pickings for the Rockies, who continue to blunder down the stretch here over the last couple of months. 56-99 is their record. They won't end up with the worst record in the league in Major League Baseball, but they will in the National League for sure. 3-7 in their last 10. We don't want to look at that. But here's the angles we take. All right, and we're not looking at every game on the card for baseball. But what you want to do, especially this week, is this. You want to look at the teams that have to have it, absolutely have to have it, against teams that have basically folded it up for the season. Maybe they're on the road. They've packed it in for the most part. You're going to get some good efforts for sure from the teams that are at home. You would think they want to, not get booed off the field here in their last few games. But generally, if you're sitting in the stands on a Wednesday night in late September watching baseball, you're not there to boo the team. You're there to have a good time and watch. As I saw a couple games late in the season last year, midweek on my way to Green Bay. We need to come up with a trip too. Unfortunately, family funerals, my mother in particular, threw a big curveball into the fall here. But we're going to regroup here and get some good trips here down the road for sure as we get deeper into the season. I got a few tricks up my sleeve yet on that front. But generally, if you're at a weeknight baseball game, then you are not there to boo the team. All right, so might get some good efforts from teams at home. So teams that have to have it against teams that have packed it in for the most part. And we have definitely some of those tonight. And let's go through the standings first as we'll look at the divisions. Orioles still have yet to clinch the AL East, but they are 3 games up in the loss column on Tampa Bay, which means they are 2.5 games up. They'll have that one extra game that they can play to try to make that 2.5 more like a 3. So Tampa very comfortably in the wild card, but 2.5 games behind Baltimore there. Toronto 10 games back themselves. The Twins, they've clinched their division. They're basically right where they're going to be, 83 and 73. We leave that team alone. The West is crazy. The Rangers are your team of the week here. They've won 6 in a row after the Astros got swept by Kansas City at home over the weekend. So the Rangers now 2.5 games up over the Astros. The Mariners 4 games back, and the Mariners played Texas for 4 games coming up to end the season coming up. Although the Mariners have lost 4 in a row themselves. Both the Astros and Mariners 3-7 in their last 10. The Rangers 6-4, and you had some great numbers on the Rangers live to win that division if you took them. In fact, you're getting 25-1 right now on the Mariners. If you think, hey, all they would have to do is basically sweep the Rangers and win another game or two, and they could cash that number home for you. But the Rangers have been the team to get a little bit hot down the stretch, and that's really what it is here in the AL West, is which team is going to be the suckiest last here down the stretch. And that seems to be the Rangers right now. The Braves, they're good to go. They're set in stone. They won that division. Phillies and Marlins. Phillies will be clinching a playoff spot very soon. That could happen as soon as tonight, I think. It looks like. We'll go over that in a second. Marlins in the wild card hunt as well. The Brewers can clinch their division tonight. So they win tonight. Brewers will be your NL Central champions. So that they play the Cardinals at home. So that is definitely an angle we're going to look at for sure. Cubs 6 games back of them. The Reds are still alive for a wild card, but barely. Dodgers 14.5 games above the Diamondbacks. Giants out of there. Padres just about out of there as well. Not officially eliminated yet, but they're close. Diamondbacks hanging in there. So to the wild card standings right now, here's where we have it. The Rays are 9 games to the good, so they're in comfortably. The Blue Jays have work to do. They're 1.5 up on the Astros, which is the last spot, and 3 games up on the Mariners. So that would make the Blue Jays magic number at 3. Is that right? Yeah. So the Blue Jays magic number should be right about 3. It might even be 4. I'm not sure how that tiebreaker works with Seattle. But the Blue Jays with work to do, and that's going to play into the equation tonight. Houston, the last wild card spot. The Mariners, 1.5 back of them. And the Mariners with that good pitching staff, if they get left out after having that tremendous second half and just kind of falling apart here in the last month, that'd be sad to see, because, you know, that was a team that we thought could actually, with their pitching, go all the way through to the World Series potentially. But no, their bats haven't been good. Their pitching not as great as it was, and here they are 3-7 in their last 10. Yankees are eliminated. Red Sox eliminated. So there you go. So really just kind of a 3-horse race with Toronto, Houston, and the Mariners. Toronto has a leg up and in complete control of their own destiny. As are the Astros, really, because they play the Mariners here the next another game, and then, or is it another 2 games? They got 57. 5 games left. They'll have 1 more at the Mariners, and then Seattle is off to will be at home to play Texas. All right, National League. Phillies, half a game to the good. Arizona Cubs tied for the last wild card spot. Marlins 1 back. Cincinnati 2.5 back. So technically they're still decently alive. They could kind of find a run here. And the Giants 4.5 back. Their days are basically numbered at this point. One more loss and a Marlins or Cubs win should about do that for them. Phillies are 5 games to the good. So the Phillies will clinch a playoff spot with a win tonight and the Arizona or Cubs loss, or if they both lose. That should be it. I'm not sure the tiebreaker there. But the Phillies, if they win, they should basically be in the playoffs. So they should be a play-on team for tonight, to be honest, as well. They play Pittsburgh, who has a decent pitcher on the mound. So I was a little reluctant to look at that. But now that I see the Phillies can clinch at home, then that could be definitely a play here now. All right, so let's look at the games that matter for wagering tonight. And I think there's some low-hanging fruit here for sure. All right, so the Reds do play Cleveland. Cleveland's been better. Minus 124 for them, over under 7.5. They have been eliminated, though. The Reds do need this. But Green is, good strikeout pitcher, and that might be well against this Cleveland lineup. I'm not ready to jump on this. I just haven't been a Cincinnati player here. I haven't been a baseball player at all, to be honest, recently, as I've kind of toned it down here towards the end. But this is a week I've been kind of looking forward to and looking to jump on, especially with these matchups. I just don't like the matchup. Lucas Giolito is the Guardians pitcher, Green the pitcher for the Reds. If we look at this, it's 70 degrees. They're in Cleveland, sunny skies, so nice weather. Green, 4.24 ERA. Giolito, 4.60. Giolito, a workhorse, 176 innings pitched. And Green has 143 strikeouts in 104 innings. So I would lean Reds here, knowing that they kind of really, really need this. But if they can't really withstand any more losses, they kind of almost need to really kind of run the table. And I think they could find themselves in here. But the Reds would be the lean on the road. I just don't like the matchup for whatever reason. So I think I'm going to leave that one off the card. 6:35. That's at 6:10 Eastern. So that's coming up here just in about 90 minutes. 6:35. Orioles and Nationals here in Baltimore. Let's see what the game cast is as far as the weather goes. Sunny and 78. So beautiful skies. Orioles minus 250, over under 7.5, which is a low number for Josiah Gray, 4.00 ERA, and Kyle Bradish, 3.07 ERA. Bradish 11-7 on the season. Both of these pitchers have over 150 innings pitched, less hits than innings pitched. Good strikeouts for Bradish and pretty good, decent as well for Josiah Gray. Gray has maybe more walks than you would like. He walks a lot of players, and home runs as well. Look, it's just plain and simple here. The Orioles are in playoff mode. This is a regional matchup as well. They're going to be completely motivated and extra batting practice. Let's go ahead and put the dagger here in the Nationals. Let's sweep them. And if we can do that, then we're probably going to find ourselves as division champions by the weekend, and we can have the weekend off and relax a little bit and take it easy before the playoffs start next week. And we don't have to play in a wild card. We could be in a division series as well. So this is all the motivation in the world for the Orioles tonight. If we look at that number, it's just 7.5. So we're going to look at that to crawl over. I think there's any number of parlay possibilities here, and that's just strictly tonight. Minus 1.5 and over 7.5 is plus 220. All right, that's the number I played. But if you want to crank that up to and risk a little bit more and fluff it up a little bit, and I'll tell you the example of how this ticket's going to pay out nicely. But If we go to line parlay number 7 on my sheet, we'll throw in the Orioles minus 2.5 over 8.5 at plus 330. All right, so that's a 6-3 game. That's a 7-2 game. All that equals minus 2.5 over 8.5. And when you do these line parlays, people, don't do it where it doesn't make sense. Like, for example, Orioles minus 1.5 over 6.5. There's no score that actually does that exactly, where you win by 2 runs and you land right on 7 runs. 5-3 is either 8 runs or 4-2 is 6 runs. Okay. Now, yes, you could win 5-2 and you're over to 7 runs, but you know what? At that point, you play minus 2.5 over 7.5. You know what I'm saying? So at a better price, at plus 210. I mean, you're getting a lot more money for that anyway. So don't do it where you can't have a correct score that doesn't match the total of what you're playing. It's kind of confusing, I know. But Orioles minus 2.5 over 8.5 runs for the game is a 6-3 game. You're covering the 2.5 by a half, and you're covering the over 8.5 by a half. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're covering one number, but the other one you need to win by 1.5 when you could have done the other bet to cover a half and make more money. That should make sense the way I say it there. So we'll throw Orioles minus 2.5 over 8.5 as I expect them to sweep the Nationals. Nationals been playing hard, but look, this is playoff mode. It's time to go. Let's get a rest for the weekend. I'm going to trust the Orioles. They've been doing it all year long. And I think this is a great number. It's a great pay number for the Orioles to beat the Nationals tonight. I'll say that for sure. Okay, next game on the board we want to look at. And I'll comprise this ticket as we go along. Well, here we are, the Phillies and the Pirates. I guess we need to throw these guys on there. Phillies can clinch a playoff spot, it looks like, officially tonight. If they win, they'll at least clinch it tomorrow night. If the guys behind them win. So this is a play on anyway. And if they don't clinch tonight, tomorrow is a play on as well. In fact, since there is no Wednesday show, everything I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter who the pitcher is, applies for tomorrow night. As all these teams will face each other again. Okay, so Phillies, you'll want to throw these guys in here as well. As they are, this isn't just my thoughts. These are kind of like, this is what happens over in the past years, people. Look at this. Phillies minus 2.5 over 8.5 is plus 490. Almost 5-1 for the Phillies to win 6-3, 7-2, almost 5-1 on that. So we'll slam that on the ticket as well. If you take the minus 10.5, can you do that? Nope, not tonight. But minus 2.5 over 8.5 at plus 490 is fantastic. I mean, that is a sensational number for a team that has to win against a team that really has nothing to play for at this point and is on the road in the Pirates. Sunny and 77 degrees at the Citizens Bank Park tonight. And hey, everyone's in a good mood with the Eagles winning last night as well. So there's that. The Pirates bats, not a lot of success against Nola as well. And hey, Keller, who's been a pretty decent pitcher for the Pirates, he has been lit up by the Phillies as well. So they have toasted this guy. I expect the Phillies to win this, at least 6-3, 7-2, whatever. So we'll do that number minus 2.5 over 8.5. And now it's up to 5-1. So I don't even know what's up with that. All right, next game on the board. Kansas City and Detroit is a pass. Yankees and Blue Jays, minus 188 for the Blue Jays. Over under is just 7 for Kevin Gausman and King, the pitcher for the Yankees. So here's the deal on this one. The Yankees season officially ended yesterday. And they get on the plane to Toronto, which is a fun city. They know their season's over. So what are you going to do officially when you have no responsibility? You're going to do a little partying. You are. You're going to drink a little bit on the plane. You're going to go out to Toronto and have some fun. And you know what? You probably had a lot of fun. So you were probably hungover. Michael King is 4-7 overall, 2.66 ERA. He's only pitched 94.2 innings. Gosman's been good, 3.29 ERA. I mean, we don't expect the Yankees to score, but a run or two here, maybe most. But the Jays can get us 5 or 6, we think for sure. Again, they're motivated. They have to win. They're in a great playoff scenario where they control their own destiny. Yankees off the plane, coming from day game yesterday in New York. They probably toasted themselves to, let's have a better season next year. And then went out and partied in Toronto. Got a little bit of a hangover, probably showed up to the ballpark late. Who cares about batting practice today, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So a great opportunity to take the Blue Jays at home here against the Yankees. And again, you're getting a very, very, very good number. So if we look at this, we'll throw this in here. We'll take this to the bare minimum of 6.5 because we can't trust the Yankees. But minus 2.5 over 6.5 is plus 320, and that is plenty for what we're trying to accomplish here tonight. 5-1 if you want to stretch it to minus 2.5 over 8.5. Again, we're making scores that make sense here. 5-2 covers 2.5. It goes over 7 barely. You don't want to do minus 1.5 over 6.5. You do 2.5 over 6.5. All right. Make yourself get paid appropriately here. So far on our ticket, Orioles minus 2.5 over 8.5, Phillies minus 2.5 over 8.5, Blue Jays minus 2.5 over 6.5. $10 on that alone pays $1,000. You're going to hit that before you hit some lottery ticket in the 7-Eleven. That's for damn sure. All right. So keep that in mind as we go. Put your money where it makes sense and not with lottery tickets. All right, Miami, who needs this, is in New York. Garrett, who's been good against Joey Lucchesi for the Mets. And the Marlins are a favorite here, but I'm not going to trust the Marlins. I can't. The Mets have handled them fairly decently this season. It is minus 126 over 7.5. Again, is the run here. It makes sense to take the Marlins, but the Mets have been playing a little feisty here. And I don't think they're going to lay down to the Marlins at home. I just can't take the Marlins in a blowout here, especially when I see them getting blown out from time to time as well. So pass on Miami and the Mets. Zach Eflin and Tanner Houck for the Red Sox is the next game we're going to look at. Now, the Rays are on the road, but they have to have this. If they want to win this division. Now it is raining, so that's going to throw a wild card into the plans here. Hopefully it'll clear up. Rain in the forecast, 70 degrees for this game. Let's see if the Red Sox have injuries. Nope. Red Sox against Eflin. Okay, not the best. So they'll get you a couple runs anyway. And somehow the Rays don't have much of a batting history against Houck. Now, this is the one I would feel least comfortable about, I guess. But Eflin's been a good pitcher, and it is rainy. But the Red Sox have been bad. They're 2-8 in their last 10 as well. The Rays, just as good as the Orioles have been, they just cannot catch the Orioles. So Tampa, you got to give them credit. They had the Wander Franco stuff, pitching injuries, other injuries as well. So they've Luke Raley, he's hurt now. Rosa Reyna is hurt. Yandy Diaz as well as day to day. So hopefully these guys can get in the lineup to help our cause. But I would lean Tampa Bay in the over 6.5 here because that is going to be a low hanging fruit price. And just the fact that the Rays have to have it is good enough for me to take them. Unlike the Miami Marlins, you can put a little bit of faith in Tampa to come home for you. -2.5 over 6.5 is at +310. So right now, that 4-game parlay of Orioles -2.5 over 8.5, Phillies -2.5 over 8.5, Blue Jays -2.5 over 6.5, and Rays -2.5 over 6.5. 10 is paying 41.84. So a nice return there. Cubs have to have their game, but they are at Atlanta, so that's a tough matchup. We'll pass on that. Elder for the Braves -146. James Steele is on the mound, Cy Young candidate, +124 for the Cubs. This game I like. The Brewers can clinch here tonight against Miles Michaelis, a guy we like to play against. Hauser has been great at home. Michaelis can give up some runs. So they're going to come out. Again, Brewers, let's just pop the champagne corks tonight on the Tuesday. -166 over 8.5 for them. They want to pop corks. They're going to pop Michaelis. I'm going to tell you that right now. And the fair number for this one will be this. A good number here. Brewers -2.5 over 8.5. So again, a 6-3 game, 7-2. But this is going to end up being more like 8-1, 9-1. I won't be surprised if Brewers can get to double digits tonight. But Brewers -2.5 over 8.5 is a good play at +370. If we throw that into that parlay we were talking about, now your $10 is paying $20,000, just about $19,700. So we love that game, and this is all going to be round robin fun. The Twins, they've clinched. Bailey Ober against Paul Blackburn for the A's, but we'll pass on that. Zach Davies, we cannot get behind with the Diamondbacks, although they're alive in the playoffs and at the White Sox. Davies is a softball pitcher, -156 for them. I don't even know if they should be that high of a favorite. Over under 9. A bad loss yesterday as well to the Yankees. So where is this team mentally? So the Diamondbacks would be one of those playoff teams to lay off of today, I think. Better tomorrow, I would say, per the pitching matchup. Dodgers and Rockies play game 2. We'll lay off of that. Rangers with Bradford are at Detmers with the Angels. Rangers -164. Detmers, you just don't know where you're going to get with him. In fact, I think he pitched pretty good his last time out against Texas. This is one I would consider, but I just think the other plays are better on the board. And I'm not interested in playing too much late action here. Let's see here. If things don't look right, maybe we'll add it on later. 80 degrees and sunny here for Cody Bradford, who's 4-2, 4.65 ERA. Reed Detmers, 4.64 ERA, 3-10 overall for him. Remember, no Ohtani, no Trout. All these guys are out. Just the pitchers, Scherzer and Gray, on the injured list for the Rangers, as their position players have all come back now. Do we have a lineup yet? No lineup yet for the Rangers. So I was going to try to see what their success was against Detmers. But if I remember correctly, Detmers pitched pretty well against them, I would say about 6 weeks ago in Texas anyway. So you have at least that for a sample. But I would lean Rangers in that, of course. So, yeah, Rangers in the over if we need to do that. Let's look at that number just to see what we're dealing with for later. We'll find a comfortable one. -164, 8.5 is the line there. In fact, they don't have all the extravagant lines. They just have this game. Actually, this will be tomorrow's game, right? Yeah, that's Wednesdays. The pitchers for Arizona Wednesday. Let's look at that since we're scrolling past by there. That looks like that's a makeup game. No, that's off the board, Arizona and Chicago. So we'll stay off of that. All right, for tonight. Bradford and Detmers. 9:39 Eastern. Yeah, all right. So that's it there. We'll lean on Texas Yeah, 9's the total. Let's see here. Parlay. How do we want to do this? So here's one that doesn't make sense. Rangers minus 2.5 over 7.5 at plus 230. You would never do that because there's no three run win margin that equals 8 runs. It's 5-2 or 6-3. So that's 7 runs or 9 runs. Why are you going to do the 7.5? Now you could do under 7.5 and it would make sense, right? 5-2, yeah, 5-2 at plus 800 would make sense if you want to do it that way. If you're an under player, the rules apply the same, but it's going to be different totals of different scores that you can use. Let's see here. Rangers minus 2.5 over 8.5 is plus 270. So not the best price in the universe, but one that is achievable for sure. We'll just go ahead and leave that off the ticket for now. Padres and Giants, 2 teams that won't make the postseason. So we'll leave them off the card. And then good matchup with Christian Javier with the Astros against George Kirby with the Mariners. Javier has been lit up a little bit this season. Kirby just been lit up a little bit lately. Over under 7.5. The Mariners are minus 126. This is the one game I would almost look at a straight over. Just because the pitchers have been vulnerable lately. And you're going to get a good price for the over. Over 10.5 is plus 240. That's a 5-5 tie. Gets you there for sure. Over 11.5 is plus 360. Over 12.5 plus 480. I could see some runs here. I could see some nerves without the runs as well. So not exactly the best play on the board, but I just kind of have a gut that one's going to be going over. All right. So again, the ticket that we've come up with is this. And this is all because of, in fact, I'll throw that over. Let's just throw over 10.5 on this Astros Mariners one on here. You can eliminate one of these if you want to do a 5-team round robin, or eliminate 2 if you want to do a 4-team round robin. But this is the way that you're going to make a lot of money for very little money if you can kind of buy what I'm selling here. All right, so I have 6 plays here in a round robin. Again, a round robin is this. We have 6 plays right now. So I'm going to probably eliminate one of them. But for example, out of these 6 plays, there are 20 different combinations of 3-game parlays. We're going to put $2 on each one. There are 15 different combinations of these 6 that create 4-game parlays. We'll put $2 on each of these. There are 6 different combinations of 5-game parlays. We'll put $2 on each of these. And one 6-game parlay, we'll put $2 on that with all these combinations. So this right here, and this is expensive because we have 6 teams. That's why I'm saying we can drop 1 or 2, and I'll show you that example in a second, or tell you that example in a second. But with the 3-game parlays of $2, you'll win $150 on the average if 3 of these hit. If we can get 4, then you're going to get, let's see, about $1,400. Now, again, this is a 6-team round robin, total investment of $84. $2 on each of the 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s. If we get 5 of the 6 of these tonight, I feel good about all of these, to be honest. Let's see. If we get 5 of the 6, then we're going to get 31, about 15,000, maybe a little bit more, 16, 17,000. And then if all 6 of these come through, a grand payout of about 50,000, a little more, $51,888.88 off an $84 bet. Now you're going to get this. Now you can go put your $84 in the poker room. All right. You think you're going to turn that into 51,800? No, you're not. You got to take $84 to the 7-Eleven and buy 4 $20 lottery tickets and 2 $20 lottery tickets and get 51,000. No, probably not. Can we pick 6 baseball games? And even if we hit 3, we're going to win something. We're going to win at least $75. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. And if we get lucky and hit 5 or 6, and then we're really, really cooking with gasoline. All right. So the plays are this: Orioles minus 2.5 over 8.5. These are on your line total parlays. Okay. So all the way on your sports book, scroll all the way right to the end of the game, and it says line/total parlays. Look for minus 2.5 over 8.5. Remember, make it make sense. This is a 6-3 game, 7-2 game, 8-1. All that gets you there or better. Don't waste effort doing minus 2.5 over 7.5 because none of the scores will make sense to get to 8 runs. You'll get better payouts if you can just stick to the system of beating the total and the spread by a half point, worst case scenario. Half run in this case. So Orioles minus 2.5 over 8.5. Phillies minus 2.5 over 8.5. Blue Jays minus 2.5 over 6.5. Again, Yankees party hungover. Phillies trying to clinch a playoff. Orioles trying to put the hammer into the division. Tampa Bay trying to catch up in the division. Needs a win at the Red Sox minus 2.5 over 6.5. Brewers to clinch a division tonight, minus 2.5 over 8.5 against Michaelis, bad pitcher. And the Astros, Mariners getting to 10 runs. Now, if you just want to take $10 on straight all 6 of these, almost $80,000 is the payout. $79,655. All right, so total over Astros, Mariners 10.5. Milwaukee to clinch the division tonight, minus 2.5 over 8.5. Tampa Bay Rays to keep pace with the Orioles at a Red Sox team that has basically quit their last 10, minus 2.5 over 6.5 runs. Just to get to 7 runs. It's not like you're asking to pull teeth here. Toronto minus 2.5 over 6.5 against the hungover Yankees team whose season ended yesterday. The Phillies looking to clinch a playoff spot tonight, minus 2.5 over 8.5. And the Orioles minus 2.5 over 8.5 to put the hammer in the division against the Nationals. Now, this is a silver platter, people. It literally is. I don't know if we're going to get these opportunities again this season. You're going to get some tomorrow, but the Brewers might be hungover. We're not going to take them if that's the case. Might want to take the Cardinals, to be honest. If the Brewers win tonight, take the Cardinals tomorrow. But everyone else should be fair game for tomorrow. Now, if the Phillies clinch a wild card, then they're likely to take it easy too. You might see them rest some players, so they'll be off the board against the Pirates. But Orioles, Blue Jays, Rays, all fair game for tomorrow themselves. All right. I hope all that makes sense for you guys. Good baseball breakdown for the playoffs. Again, we'll come back next Tuesday with the baseball playoff Tuesday special, the Deep End Baseball Show. Round Robin Thursday football specials every Thursday at 4. Our flagship show Sunday mornings, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Friday soccer paycheck, 4 o'clock Fridays, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What the Puck is going on to be announced. An Inquisition Unknown past shows to air. Season 2 coming shortly. All right. So that's all fun stuff. We'll go ahead and get on out of here. So Orioles in a blowout. Brewers in a blowout. Blue Jays in a blowout. Rays to beat the Red Sox in a blowout. Phillies, we'll go with them too. And we'll take a stab at that over Mariners and Astros. So we'll see how we do. And we'll update it on Thursday. Hey, if we sweep the board, we may be gone out of the country for a little bit. Okay, guys. Enjoy. Have a good baseball night. Football coming up on Thursday. We will talk then.